Just a decade ago, Nepal was struggling with up to 16 hours of load shedding every day. Businesses suffered, students studied under candlelight, and the entire businesses relied on diesel generators to keep the lights on. But today, Nepal has transformed its electricity sector. In 2024, 99% of the population has access to power. The country's generation capacity has surged to 3,157 megawatts, allowing Nepal to become a net exporter of electricity, selling 1,946 gigawatt-hours to India while strategically importing 1,895 gigawatt-hours during peak demand. And it's not just about generating power. Nepal's grid has become smarter than ever. The SCADA, or Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System, now allows real-time monitoring and control of the entire network. With over 52 automated substations, the grid can detect faults and reroute electricity almost instantly. And with the rollout of smart metering, electricity distribution is entering the digital age. Already, 98,000 smart meters have been installed in Kathmandu. Although falling behind its 2025 target of installing 5 million smart meters, smart meter installation remains NEA's primary focus, revolutionizing how we manage energy and enhancing efficiency in distribution and consumption. With massive investments in automation, digitalization, and international power trading, Nepal's energy sector is on a historic rise, but there's a hidden risk that could bring it all crashing down. Globally, cyber attacks on power grids have been escalating, targeting critical infrastructure and causing significant disruptions. Notably, in December 2015, a sophisticated cyber attack on Ukraine's power grid led to power outages affecting approximately 230,000 consumers for durations ranging from 1 to 6 hours. This incident marked the first publicly acknowledged successful cyber attack on a power grid. In the United States, the energy sector has faced a dramatic 70% surge in cyber attacks in 2024 compared to the same period in 2023. While these attacks have not yet caused significant disruptions, the increasing frequency underscores the growing vulnerability of critical infrastructure. India has also been a target, with reports of cyber attack attempts on its power grid infrastructure. These incidents highlight the global nature of the threat and the necessity for robust cybersecurity measures. The same technology that has made Nepal's grid smarter and more efficient is also introducing new vulnerabilities. Without adequate cybersecurity measures, Nepal's power grid could be at risk of similar attacks. Globally, cyber attacks on power grids have been increasing. Hackers have already shut down parts of Ukraine's power grid, caused blackouts in the United States, and targeted critical infrastructure worldwide. If Nepal's power grid is not secured, it could be the next target. The same technology that has made Nepal's grid smarter and more efficient is also making it more vulnerable. Here's how. SCADA systems allow Nepal Electricity Authority to remotely control power generation, transmission, and distribution, but if hackers gain access, they could shut down power plants, overload transformers, or even trigger nationwide blackouts. Smart meters allow NEA to monitor electricity usage in real time. But what if hackers take control? They could manipulate billing data, cut off power to critical areas, or even overload the grid by tampering with consumption patterns. Nepal's grid is now connected to India, allowing electricity imports and exports. But these interconnections also mean that a cyber attack on India's power grid could spill over into Nepal's system, or vice versa. Many of Nepal's substations and transmission lines still rely on outdated infrastructure. These legacy systems lack modern cybersecurity protections, making them easy targets for cyber criminals. One of the biggest weaknesses in Nepal's cybersecurity strategy is the lack of real-time situational awareness. The grid has limited monitoring capabilities to detect active cyber threats, meaning an attack could go unnoticed until it's too late. There is also a severe shortage of trained cybersecurity professionals in Nepal's energy sector. Most of the expertise in securing power grids comes from foreign consulting firms and external experts, rather than in-house specialists trained within NEA. Without local cybersecurity capacity, Nepal remains dependent on others to protect its critical infrastructure. Unlike leading nations that continuously train cybersecurity teams for power grid defense, Nepal has no structured, large-scale cybersecurity training program for grid operators and engineers. Without local expertise and proactive threat detection, Nepal's power grid remains highly exposed to cyberattacks. Nepal Electricity Authority, or NEA, recognizes the growing cyber threats and has taken some important steps to strengthen the security of the power grid. These include Information Technology Policy 2023, defining cybersecurity protocols and digital safety measures. Investments in cybersecurity, protecting critical infrastructure from cyber threats. Substation Automation Systems, SAS, enhancing monitoring of 52 substations for early fault detection. Smart grid deployment, reducing manual control and enabling real-time monitoring. Cybersecurity training, educating employees about digital threats and safe practices. But how does Nepal compare to the world's most secure power grids? The US and EU power grids use AI-driven threat detection, where artificial intelligence continuously scans the grid for unusual activity and automatically neutralizes cyber threats before they escalate. Nepal currently lacks AI-based threat response systems. Israel and Singapore have established cybersecurity command centers dedicated to monitoring grid security 24/7, simulating cyber attacks and training cybersecurity response teams. Nepal does not yet have a centralized cybersecurity command for power grid defense. Germany and Canada require mandatory penetration testing, ethical hacking exercises to find vulnerabilities before hackers do. Nepal's cybersecurity framework does not yet mandate regular penetration testing for grid infrastructure. Japan and South Korea enforce multi-layer authentication for grid operators and SCADA access, preventing unauthorized logins even if passwords are compromised. Nepal's current SCADA security does not yet have multi-layer authentication in place. While Nepal has taken important first steps, much more needs to be done to match global best practices. Without stronger cybersecurity, the grid remains vulnerable to evolving cyber threats. As Nepal's power grid becomes increasingly digital and interconnected, the risk of cyber attacks grows. To protect the nation's electricity sector, Nepal must learn from the best cybersecurity practices worldwide and adapt its systems accordingly. Nepal must take proactive steps like leading countries to secure its critical infrastructure. Nepal needs a centralized cybersecurity operations hub, where NEA's cybersecurity team can actively track threats, simulate cyber attacks, and develop rapid response strategies in case of a breach. Many of the world's most secure grids conduct frequent penetration testing, essentially ethical hacking exercises designed to find weak spots before real hackers do. Nepal must mandate cybersecurity audits for all critical infrastructure and establish a routine process for penetration testing, ensuring that any vulnerabilities are identified and patched immediately. Nepal must ensure that all digital entry points, whether at substations, in smart grids, or within NEA's remote monitoring systems, are protected with encryption, intrusion detection, and strict access controls. This will help prevent unauthorized access and stop cybercriminals from remotely manipulating the power grid. With Nepal now exporting and importing electricity across borders, stronger international collaboration is needed to ensure grid security beyond Nepal's borders. India has already faced cyber attack attempts on its power grid, and a breach in their system could spill over into Nepal's infrastructure. Nepal must establish real-time information sharing and joint cybersecurity exercises with India and future trading partners like Bangladesh and China to prevent cross-border cyber threats. A power grid is only as strong as the people protecting it. It is critical to train local cybersecurity experts, educate all NEA staff on best practices, and ensure that engineers, technicians, and decision-makers understand the latest cybersecurity threats and how to respond. Cybersecurity isn't just about NEA, it's about the entire nation. If consumers fall victim to phishing scams or tamper with smart meters, the entire system can be compromised. We need a national cyber awareness campaign to educate the public on digital hygiene, phishing attacks, and securing their smart meters. Nepal has made incredible progress in electrification, reliability, and energy exports. We have gone from 16-hour daily load shedding to becoming a net exporter of electricity, helping to strengthen the economy and reduce dependency on imports. But with this digital transformation comes a new era of threats. Threats that could disrupt our progress if not addressed immediately. In today's world, cyber attacks on power grids are no longer science fiction. They are a real and growing threat. If we don't act now, we risk power outages, economic instability, and even national security threats. A single cyber attack could cripple industries, halt hospitals, and disrupt millions of lives. But this is not a future we have to accept. With the right investments, policies, and awareness, Nepal can build a power grid that is not only smart, but also secure. By learning from global cybersecurity leaders, strengthening cross-border cooperation, and training a new generation of cybersecurity professionals, Nepal can stay ahead of cyber threats and safeguard its energy future. The power grid is the backbone of modern Nepal. If we protect it, we protect our future, our economy, our industries, and our homes. The future of Nepal's electricity depends on cybersecurity. It's time to take action. This is just the beginning of the conversation. Cybersecurity threats extend beyond the power grid. They impact banking, transportation, telecommunications, and even national security. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the hidden dangers of cyber threats and how Nepal can prepare for a safer digital future. If you found this video informative, share it to raise awareness. Let's work together to secure Nepal's power grid for the future.